After a long absence, Mr. Allworthy returned home late one evening, weary from his travels. He had barely finished a quiet supper with his sister when he retired to his room, ready to rest. As he pulled back his bedclothes, he discovered an unexpected sight. A tiny, sleeping infant, wrapped in simple linen, lying in his bed. Startled and speechless, he stood over the child.
Who could leave such a helpless creature here alone?
He thought to himself, gently. But compassion quickly overtook his surprise. With a warm heart, he rang for his housekeeper, Mrs. Deborah Wilkins.
"Oh, good heavens, an infant in your bed, sir? What's to be done?"
gasped Mrs. Wilkins, visibly flustered and adjusting her hair.
Mrs. Wilkins, we must look after this child tonight. Tomorrow, I'll make arrangements for a nurse.
Mr. Allworthy replied calmly.
"Well, sir, if you ask me, I'd have that shameless mother whipped for leaving her child like this. Such wretches shouldn't be our burden,"
sighed Mrs. Wilkins disdainfully, crossing her arms. Mr. Allworthy didn't seem to hear Mrs. Wilkins' words. Instead, he gently held the baby's tiny hand, lost in thought. The child's small fingers curled around his own, as if seeking comfort, imploring his help.
Please, take the child to your own room and see that it is cared for. Call the maid to prepare some pap for when it wakes,
he said softly to Mrs. Wilkins. Mrs. Wilkins sighed, but obeyed, picking up the child and looking down at it with unexpected warmth.
"Well, it is a sweet little thing, I suppose,"
she muttered as she exited, and with that, the child was given a place in Mr. Allworthy's home. His kindness had won over his housekeeper's grumbling, setting a new course of care for the abandoned infant.